Hey everybody, I'm Fernando.
And I'm Ron from Seriously Smart Technologies. We wanted to share some information with you today to answer many of the common questions we get about our technology. And probably the number one question is, what is stress management and what isn't stress management? Well, we've named our newest biofeedback devices as stress management systems rather than biofeedback devices for the simple reason that stress management is a term everyone can relate to. And the term biofeedback is actually not as easily understood. Biofeedback is a technology that has been around for about 75 years. It's not new. And in the past 25 years, it has gained a lot of recognition around the world. However, some still do not know what the term biofeedback means. Biofeedback is used to detect stress and to teach and retrain the body, which is why stress management is a proper term to use. It is not designed to cure disease. In fact, if you are told by a biofeedback practitioner or a stress management specialist that they can cure your disease, then simply said, you're probably speaking to the wrong practitioner. Retraining the body to deal with stress or to deal with the effects of stress as a result of disease, illness, or injury can be very beneficial. We try to provide the clients with a feedback of what their stress responses are, and this new awareness can help a person make decisions of what course to take for their lifestyle, their environment, or even with their nutrition and things like these.
Like chronic stress is not healthy for us at all.
It certainly isn't. In fact, it's impossible to be completely stress free, but we can do our best to manage the stress we have affecting our lives. Many articles have been written over the past 25 years or so that stress causes disease. So, with biofeedback, the is to reduce stress within our bodies and retrain stress or retrain stress affected areas so they can function normally. Try to keep it from becoming the chronic level that you mentioned, Fernando. That's our goal. So, how does biofeedback and stress management work?
Well, this is how I like to describe it to my clients. Biofeedback works in a really gentle way. Your client will get strapped up in 5 places. Electrodes made of rubber will go around the ankles and the wrists, and then there will be a head harness that goes across the forehead. It will get connected to the biofeedback device that is connected to a laptop. Then the software sends in around 11,000 frequencies into the body. And then the results or the feedback comes back from the body right back to the software where the trained biofeedback practitioner can look and try to determine what is causing our client stress and how we can go about retraining it. It works in a gentle and simple way.
Biofeedback can help one to understand their own unique reactivity, which can be very educational for them. The system is not registered as a diagnostic device other than for diagnosing stress. It is designed to help a person understand their electrical reactivity to those 11,000 plus voltmetric signatures or frequencies that we have in our software. With a better understanding of how stress is affecting us, we can make better choices as to our nutrition, our lifestyle, and our environment. Some might even consider adjusting their healthcare decisions, but we recommend that all healthcare decisions should be discussed with a licensed healthcare professional. So, Fernando, how could you answer the question, can stress management help with wellness issues?
Well, the Mayo Clinic has this to say about biofeedback. Biofeedback, sometimes called biofeedback training, helps many physical and mental health problems, including, and take a look at this whole slide. Number one, nervousness slash stress. Number two, asthma. Three, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD. Number four, side effects from drugs that treat cancer. Number five, long lasting pain. Number six, constipation. Number seven, loss of bowel control, also known as fecal incontinence. Number 8, fibromyalgia. Number 9, headache. Number 10, high blood pressure. 11, irritable bowel syndrome. And then 12, Raynaud's disease. Number 13, ringing in the ears, also called tinnitus. Number 14, stroke. Number 15, temporal mandibular joint, or TMJ. 16 is urinary incontinence and trouble passing urine. And 17, depression. Now we can look in the top corner there. We see biofeedback appeals to people for a variety of reasons. There's no surgery involved. It might lower or end the need for medicines. It might make medicines work better. It might help when medicines can't be used, such as in pregnancy. And lastly, it helps people feel more in control of their health.
And I especially like that last comment made by the Mayo Clinic, because people really do need to take charge of their own health. Today, we have many diseases and disorders that are caused by our lifestyle. And with biofeedback being used to educate us, we can have new power to make adjustments in our lives and take control of our own health. The main focus with our biofeedback technology is to deal primarily with the stress that causes these factors and as a result of these factors. So, Fernando, why would someone want to choose to have a stress management biofeedback session?
It's a great question. Well, with the ability to provide virtually instant information through a comfortable and relaxing non-invasive process, stress management professionals are able to address their clients' stress in a sophisticated and finely tuned way. And just to add a comment to this, one of the reasons why that's possible is because of that connectivity between our system and the client. It's a 100% connectivity between their conscious and their subconscious mind.
Right. Well, what does stress management feel like during the session?
People were actually worry about that. Most individuals feel nothing at all. Some experience a state of deep relaxation and a general sense of well-being. Others feel energized immediately following the session.
So, who can benefit from a stress management or biofeedback session?
Everyone from children to seniors and even animals. Stress management communication with the client is not reliant on language, verbal, visual, or conscious thought process.
And what are the possible wellness benefits of a stress management or a biofeedback session?
Stress management has been scientifically proven to help reduce stress that may be related to illness, injury, or emotional trauma. It can result in an overall improved sense of well-being, greater mental clarity, pain reduction, and improved physical performance.
Now, we're going to show you a couple of the most memorable devices in the more than 20-year history of our biofeedback technology. The newest biofeedback device in use today is our S8 and Q9 stress management systems, which were launched in 2023.
So, Ron, who should own a stress management device?
Well, our biofeedback devices are considered a Class 2A medical device designed for professional use and for prescription use. This means that medical professionals may purchase and use these devices with their patients, and those with a valid prescription from their licensed physician may purchase a device for their own use. Now, if you are not currently a medical professional, but would like to become a stress management specialist, with the purchase of one of our systems, you receive a full training course and instructions on how to complete the course and apply for a stress management specialist certification through BONDS, which is BANHS, which is the certification board we work with for biofeedback and stress management. There is a sales agreement that you must read and sign, which shows that you understand the Q9 or S8 is to be used for stress detection and stress reduction. No medical claims can be made. Only our approved reporting software is allowed to be used to give session reports to your clients. And only approved marketing materials are to be used, which helps you to make sure, or helps us to make sure, that the proper terminology is being used to describe the equipment that you purchased for our mutual legal protection.
Good answer. Second question is, who are some people that shouldn't own a device?
Well, if a person doesn't fall into one of those categories we just mentioned, they should not own a biofeedback device. The system is very complex and was originally designed for licensed medical physicians, so advanced training is required. The software is somewhat complicated, as is the human body. So in many cases, getting a prescription to purchase a biofeedback system might cause additional stress for a patient that receives a prescription. Many people prefer to see a board certified stress management or biofeedback specialist for their assistance with their various types of stress. Many receive profound results, thus gaining a desire to become a certified stress management specialist themselves. They acquire a system and they proceed with helping others in the same way that it helped them. That seems to be one of the most popular reasons that a person desires to become a stress management specialist, because of their own experience as a client that received results.
I wanted to add in a comment here. Since it does use a complicated software program and a laptop, if someone considers themselves technologically challenged, or they may feel that they're good with computers, but only with a certain type of computers like Apple. So if you feel that way, then using a Windows-based computer will be difficult for you. You would probably not want to own a biofeedback system and would rather continue to see a certified biofeedback or a certified stress reduction specialist.
Good point. So, Fernando, what is a stress management session? Okay.
That was my
I,
question to
I
you.
was supposed to answer that.
So, Ron, what is a stress management session?
Well, biofeedback is best performed in a relaxed atmosphere. Many professionals will work out of their office in a separate room away from noise and other activities. Now, some may have their client in a comfortable chair, while others have massage tables for a person to lay flat and more of a relaxed setting. Some will play light music during the session. The key is to have this performed in a relaxed state so the process can work at its best possible way.
That is so true. So, can you do it as a business?
Absolutely. A biofeedback specialist may decide to use biofeedback in a single office setting, while others work in various kinds of health clinics or offices. Some choose to put a small building on their home property or even renovate a garage to turn it into a nice office space attached to their home. The key is to have a comfortable, relaxed environment. Now, working as a stress management specialist is a business. In fact, all medical professions are businesses. There is nothing unusual about that. Some medical physicians will hire a person to work within their office as a stress management specialist in their business. A physician usually has a limited amount of time to spend with each patient in their office, and since stress management sessions are generally 60 to 90 minutes in length, this hiring or contracting with a stress management specialist is a really good model for a medical office.
And a stress management business can specialize with children, seniors, athletes, or even animals.
Right.
So, how is the training done?
Well, training is all performed online from our website. We call the course the Stress Management Specialist Certification Training Program. The webpage is very detailed as to the content of the training. It's a self-paced course, which means you can go as fast or as slow as you need to, which is great because the person will be in charge of their own schedule and how they choose to complete the course. Upon completion of the certification training program, you will receive a diploma showing that you have completed the course.
So, how do I become certified and maintain my certification?
Upon completion of the certification training program, we submit your diploma to the certification board. so they know you have completed the course. And then you follow their requirements that they have for annual renewal. In order to maintain your certifications, you are required to complete 20 hours of continuing education each year, and then renew your certification annually. Continuing your education is very important in keeping your knowledge base current. 10 CEUs must be in your certified area of expertise, and the other 10 CEUs can be used in any natural health science.
So what support is given to new owners?
First, new owners can begin the training right away before even receiving their equipment. That's a nice feature to have because you really need some initial knowledge before beginning to use the software. After the training course is completed, they receive a 1-hour appointment with our trainer for software navigation support, which should cover the final questions you may have regarding the training course. We have had many people, many reports afterwards telling us how glad they are that this was provided. But it doesn't stop there. We continue to support you further. When a new owner receives their system, everything is ready to go. The laptop is fully set up. There are no software installations necessary because it's already been done for you. We even have an advanced security software on the computer that was specifically set up for biofeedback computers. Our technical support team is available should you run into technical questions or issues. Our technical support team members have all had many years of experience. They're all friendly and eager to assist. We offer a complete support package, completely free for the first year, and reasonably priced annual support afterwards, or free emails, technical support, or hourly remote support options. So there's lots of options. We provide annual training events, monthly series events, and a weekly 1-hour free webinar we call the SST Hangout. On the Hangouts, we discuss news, technical tips, and support comments. But during the majority of the Hangout, we answer your questions that have been sent in or are asked during the event. All of our events are recorded too, and we even recommend additional training events from many of our affiliates.
And our annual training usually consists of 16 credit hours towards your certification requirements. And then our monthly and special paid trainings will each have their own CEU value listed. We do provide more than enough CEU courses, and the biggest problem you will have is deciding which courses you want to take.
Right. And also Bonds and SST both have a place on their websites now for a practitioner listing. So people who are searching for a stress management specialist in their area can find you. It's free to list your contact details there as long as you keep your certification active with Bonds and keep your membership active with SST. We really do our best to assist new and existing system owners with all their needs for this important stress management work.
So if you do have any more questions or need more information, here is our contact details right here.
Or if you'd like to request a demonstration or discuss purchase details with one of our staff, please email us or give us a call. We certainly look forward to speaking with you.
So I did want to point out the different links here on our website for all of you. So again, Ron discussed the actual certification training that we have available. So you're welcome to click on that link there in the chat box or go on the website. If you want to learn more about the different devices that we offer, whether new or previously owned, you can see that here on our website as well. And then, yes, we love having the ability to list practitioners here through on our website so people can find ones hopefully as close to them as possible.
And we just did set that up. So a lot of people are just entering their information in right now.
And then some of the paid for trainings or free trainings or events are listed here. And speaking of the events, we have an events page where there's ones where you can find them. One of the questions that did come up that was kind of appropriate to just kind of go up really quick. Hold on 1 second. One of the questions was, it might help, or the statement that stimulated the question was, it might help when medicines can't be used, such as in pregnancy. Well, according to the manufacturer, we are not allowed to do sessions on people that are pregnant. However, a medical professional that is licensed to work with pregnant people could use a biofeedback system to help his patients. So that would be one of the approved ways of doing that. Okay, hold on. Let me see if there were any more questions. One great question that had come in was, have you worked with a client with chronic anxiety? How many sessions did it take? You know, that's a tough one. As a practitioner that does this 6 days a week, I will make the statement of, I was just explaining this to a client this morning. You know, with our software has gone through so many changes, and the amount of time that Ron and I and the team have worked with you guys as practitioners, the software, and some of you aren't practitioners yet, but the software, I mean, Ron and I have literally been around over hundreds, close to 200 versions of the software, and right now the current version is so powerful. So you know, for many years when people would come to me, I would tell them they needed to commit to at least 4 sessions for a wellness issue that they were seeing me with. But as the software has progressed especially in this last 5 years, I have found that with my clients that come to me with a physical issue, usually 50% of them only needed one appointment. And that's just following the Seriously Smart session method that we have the training for on our website. But to answer your question about with chronic anxiety, when it comes to mental health stuff, that is not as quickly resolved with our biofeedback equipment. I like to refer to us humans as onions. And as you peel back the layers, and the deeper you go, the stinkier it gets. So it can really vary, you know, but that's one of the benefits of working with a practitioner, is to find out what might be the causes. Could it be, you know, something external that we can work with them on as a wellness coach and give the, you know, give them tips and tricks? Is it something that they're doing to themselves? Like Ron was, he went through the list. Could it be something nutritional? Could it be something chronic? Could it be something that they're exposing themselves to? It's really fun to figure that out. Being a practitioner, in my opinion, is very fun because everybody's different. Every single person that comes to you, their wellness issues are unique to themselves. And so we need to try to figure out, as their wellness coach, you know, what advice, for lack of a better word, that we can give them to help them on their wellness journey.
And there's different factors that each person dealt with to get to that point. So there's so many different things that it's really difficult to answer a question like that. How many sessions does it take to do this specific thing? So it can vary.
Another question, is it helpful for people with diabetes? And absolutely. We actually just shared a couple weeks ago some results with one of my clients. We have some great retraining panels in our software for working with those that have been diagnosed with diabetes. And with one of my clients, we've done 3 sessions now with working on it. She'll actually be here tomorrow for a follow-up appointment. And after 2 sessions, as we were working more focused on her diabetes wellness issues, she had for a long time been taking 40 units of her insulin every single day, 20 in the morning and 20 in the evening. But after just 2 appointments, she was down to 12 units once a day. So I'm looking forward to hearing from her tomorrow, what kind of improvement or changes happened after her third session. With fibromyalgia, I have worked with people with fibromyalgia, but it's been a while. But people have seen benefits with it. There's interesting wellness issues that are what you would call a chronic wellness issue. And I like to call these ones what biofeedback was made for, because I like to look at biofeedback. Biofeedback doesn't heal anybody, doesn't cure anybody, like Ron mentioned as he was on this. We were like on the second slide. If you go to a practitioner that uses those words, then they're really the wrong practitioner for you. But because of chronic stress, chronic inflammation, I like to refer to our body as we're full of wellness switches. And the chronic stress, chronic inflammation flips those switches in the wrong direction.
Agreed.
and and uh and almost nothing that we can do ourselves can flip those back. And now I remember I conditionalized that word. I said almost. There's a lot of health and wellness improvements we can do on our own that can help us. But biofeedback, where it really excels, in my opinion, is when you do a session, like for instance, the Seriously Smart session method that we were talking about, it'll help reset those switches. So now the body can do what it was designed to do. And when some people have been found to have been diagnosed with fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue, some of those other ones that are kind of like that, biofeedback has been really beneficial for them. Give us an example of one of your happiest customer experiences. That is really easy. I've had a lot, but I will say my favorite wellness experience was my mom. I'm originally from Southern California, but we live here in Michigan. So I was so excited. This was about 14 years ago. I got to work on my mom for the first time and strapped her up. And you can see on our website, we also have a lot of accessories. And my mom had the face veil on. She had the mitts on her hands. I can't remember. I think, and she had the booties on her feet as well. I can't remember if she had the blanket on top of her, but I did a session on her in our hotel room. Ron and I were at an event there in Las Vegas. I was like, Mom, I'm going to be in Vegas. Can you get some time off? We can spend some time with each other. And she drove over. And the first thing I did was I ran a session on her. Now, here's where it gets fun. After the session was over, my mom's there rubbing her face. And oh, wait, hold on a second. I want to make sure I tell this in the right order. I think what happened first was as she's sitting there, she was rubbing her fingers, these two fingers on each hand. And I'm like, Mom, my mom's from Boston. So like, Mom, what's up with your fingers? She says, I can feel them. I'm like, I try not to get emotional. This always chokes me up because of how cool it was. I go, Mom, what's wrong with your fingers? And she says, I can feel them. I go, what do you mean that you can feel them? She says, ever since I injured my back, I haven't felt these two fingers on each hand, and I can feel them now. So she's just sitting there playing with them. I go, Ma, that was 17 years ago. She says, I know, I can feel my fingers. And I was like, ah, that was cool. And then that night, Ron and I took her out to dinner, and we were talking, and we were just eating dinner. And then I look over at my mom, and she's rubbing this part of her face. I go, Ma, what's up with your face? And she says, I can feel this part. I go, what do you mean? She says, ever since I hurt my back, this part of my face, I haven't felt it. And it's been affecting my speech. And I was like, oh, I felt like the worst son ever because I hadn't noticed. My mom's never lost her Boston accent. And she says, I can feel this now. It was super cool. So I told that story to my brother, who actually sees my mom every day. And he says, I never noticed that. I go, ha, you're the worst son ever. I'm number two. So ultimately, that's my favorite story. My mom did tell me over the weeks after that, it was just that one session was all she needed. What had happened was she had ruptured 3 discs in her spine. And that was what had happened 17 years before. And but she did tell me like the next week, she says, wow, I'm getting paper cuts on those fingers now, and they really hurt. I never felt those before.
That was an interesting experience. My favorite, I'm not an active practitioner anymore. I do all of my work with SST, but I'm not actually seeing clients. But many years ago, I had a person who called me on the phone. Um, she came in and she told me the scenario that she was dealing with, and she wasn't able to work. She had been living in her sister's house for like 23 years, and she just was had some very severe emotional trouble. And And so I started working with her, and at first I was like, oh my, what did I get myself into? It was so bad. And during the first session, she was sitting on the edge of her seat and leaning over the table and had to be involved in everything that I was doing. And she wouldn't stop talking. And she just kept going and going about all her problems and everything. But slowly, as I was doing the session, she relaxed, she sat back, she finally leaned back, and she's actually stopped talking, and she's looking around the room. And I says, "Is everything okay?" She goes, "You know something? I think this is going to work." She says, "This is amazing." And she, "What are you doing tomorrow?" So so she started coming to me a lot. I mean, really close together sessions, and we slowly spread that out over the course of time, and over the course of I don't know, I can't remember how long it was, maybe 6 months to a year. And eventually, she, through the process, she would call me. She says, "Ron, I got a job. Ron, I moved out of my sister's house. I rented a house. Ron, I got a job. I quit that job and I got another job. You know what my dream is? I want to be a writer for women's magazines." And toward the end of that process, like I said, I don't remember if it was 6 months or a year, and she says, I'm moving out west, and I'm buying a house. I got a job working for a women's magazine as a writer." And she says, this has changed my life. So you never know what kind of a result you're going to have with somebody. And I'm not saying that every result is going to be that dramatic, but if you have one experience like that, it makes all this work worthwhile. And Fernando and I both have had many experiences throughout our careers, that have helped people. So it's a fantastic line of work if that's what you're choosing, or if you're looking for a practitioner. As we said, we have the two places where you can find a practitioner. You can email us, contact us, and we'll help you get in the right direction there. And it's just a fantastic thing to be a part of.
Another question that was in the chat box is, what about working on pets? Like we talked about in there, from working with
Right.
children to seniors to animals. I personally have just worked with cats and dogs, and had great results with that. Animals really respond well
Very well.
to the software. We actually have a training, a paid for training for working with animals. I've had people send me pictures of working on ducks, turtles, camels, horses, cows. I know of people that have worked on birds of all sizes, so that's been pretty cool. And so that's been the pictures have been pretty phenomenal, as well as the testimonials from practitioners with those ones. We'd just love to thank you all for joining us. Some of you are practitioners, and some of you are not. Hopefully, we answered a bunch of questions and got you thinking about ways to use this. We're so grateful that the Mayo Clinic has so many positive things to say about biofeedback, and they have those 17 wellness issues that they have stated right there on their website that have been found to be benefited by biofeedback sessions. So that's super cool. So again, you're welcome to use that contact information there at the end of the slideshow if you have any more questions. But other than that, I'm Fernando,
And I'm Ron.
and thanks for joining us. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.
Bye bye.